Well, welcome to Mexico.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You are a very well-known spiritual leader who has taught us many things about the path to happiness. But also, among other things, you have taught us about the importance of self-knowledge, of consciousness, how to make good choices, and how that expands our possibilities to make a better world. And this is one of the things that we are working on our TV program, where we talk about greatness, because we feel that in Mexico we are great. It's called Somos Grandes. And in that sense, I would like to ask you the first question. I would like to ask, what does greatness mean to you? And does greatness have an influence in whether you're educated or not?
Greatness is the ability to get in touch with your creativity. Greatness is to be independent of the good and bad opinions of the world. Greatness is immune to criticism, but also immune to flattery. Greatness is fearless. Greatness is service. Greatness is empathy and compassion and love and joy. Greatness is loss of the fear of death. But ultimately, greatness is a harnessing of infinite potential in yourself, but helping others to harness their infinite potential, to bring out the greatness in everyone.
Right. And this infinite potential, does it have a connection to education?
Unfortunately, it does not. Basically, education these days is information overload. Now that you have ChatGPT and Google and all these AIs, information overload is totally unnecessary. Actually, young children can be trained how to access any kind of information. The most important part of education should be self-awareness, not even self-knowledge, because knowledge is very limited. But self-awareness is infinite.
Because of self-awareness, I think leadership gets kickstarted. What characteristics should a person consider when talking about a leader and feeling yourself to be a leader?
Leadership requires a lot of very important attributes. It has to come from a deeper level, not from your mind, not from, as I said, education. Leadership comes from certain attributes that very few leaders have. I could name maybe 3 or 4 that I could see as potential examples. People like Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr., perhaps to a little extent John F. Kennedy, because he had a vision for a greater world before he was unfortunately assassinated. So leadership happens when people have the following traits. Number 1, they listen deeply. They listen with their mind, they listen with their body, they listen with their soul, they listen with their emotions. Number 2, they have emotional intelligence, which means they can get in touch with their emotions, they can get in touch with other people's emotions, they can communicate in a way that is empathy and compassion, non-violently. So they're emotionally intelligent. Number 3, they can harness intuition and creativity and a higher purpose. Number 4, they're dreamers, but they're also doers. It's not just a dream. They manage to do it. They have smart goals. They stretch more than they can reach. They make everything measurable. They know that their team agrees with them. They take responsibility. And they also, when things go wrong, they take the blame. When things go right, they give the credit to their team. And finally, they also know how to harness what we call good luck. Good luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. Great leaders have shared vision. They have teams which have maximum diversity. They have a spiritual and emotional bond, and they leverage everyone's strengths. Think of a good sports team. Shared vision, everybody is complementing each strength, maximum diversity, and there's an emotional bond. So that's a good example of leadership.
Is there an element of service as
Always.
well?
So if you don't serve, then you're not a leader. Most leaders, unfortunately, political and even corporate, are more interested in power, influence peddling, cronyism, corruption. It's a mess. Leadership is a mess in the world. I have a course that we teach called The Soul of Leadership. And recently, we have worked with the Obama Foundation also on that. And actually, we offer it free to anyone who wants to go on the internet, cfi.choprafoundation.org.
We'll have to get a look.
It's a free course on leadership.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the information. We'll have to get a look on that.
cfi.choprafoundation.org.
Great. And here in leadership also, I would like to talk about success. Does success have anything to do and relate to luck? What does success
Luck
mean
is
to you?
just, opportunity meeting preparedness. Opportunities are around you all the time. But to be prepared is to be aware. Is to be aware. So synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, good luck, being at the right place at the right time, they all mean the same thing.
And what does success mean to Deepak?
For me right now, success is the progressive realization of worthy goals, the ability to love, have compassion, the ability to heal, and most importantly, to be in touch with the deeper self, which we call the soul.
Thank you. Thank you. And for one just last question, I would like to ask, life is full of adversity. What would be your advice to young people and to all of the people? What is the recipe to face it and to overcome it?
Well, the social science has a formula for that. It's called the happiness equation. So 50% of your happiness every day comes from whether you see the world as adversity or opportunity. So, even during COVID, most of the world was looking at adversity, but then there were people creating Zoom, there were people creating all kinds of new technologies, vaccines, messenger RNA, gene editing. So much happened from the people who saw even that adversity as an opportunity. So about 50% of your daily experience of happiness comes just from that. Are you seeing a problem or do you see an opportunity? 10% comes from money. So if you win the lottery, you'll be very happy. But then in 6 months, you'll plateau, and 1 year, you'll be back to baseline. 40% comes from daily choices. So there are two kinds of choices we make. One for personal pleasure, shopping, sex, alcohol, entertainment. Do those choices make us happy? Yes, but only temporarily. Really, true joy comes when we seek fulfillment, which means when we have meaning and purpose in our life, and even more important, when we can make somebody else happy. In fact, the fastest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy. And all you have to do is give them attention, listen, affection, tell them you care, appreciation, notice their uniqueness, and acceptance, radically accept everyone just as they are. That's the formula.
Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you for your insight, and thank you for your time. You have just made an impact on me. So thank you for that.
Lovely to meet
I've learned
you.
a lot.
Somos grandes.